Hi everyone, welcome to Magpie, a brand new podcast where we talk about shiny, distracting things. Let me introduce myself. My name is Anna. If you are listening to this on a video format, then it is accompanied by a simple little drawing that I made in Photoshop. So please enjoy that for the next 40 or so minutes. If you are listening to this only in audio, then it's just you and me hanging out. Either way, super cool. If you want to check out the video, it's me drawing a little window seat with some stars in the night. Nothing ridiculously artistically extreme, just something fun that I did and made a screen recording of it. It has nothing to do with what we're going to talk about today. It's just kind of fun to have in the background. So what we're actually going to talk about today is treasures, kinds of treasures, filling your life. Does treasures make your life more joyful? Is there a point in over-collecting? So, yeah, that's today's topic. And so I guess we can just jump right in. I have always been more of a collector than a minimalist. I'm definitely organized, and I've never been a pack rat, but there's something about notebooks or gel pens or stickers. My laptop is, I'm one of those people where my laptop is full of stickers. I just want to be surrounded by beautiful things, and for some people that means like crisp, clean gray walls, nothing around, and that brings them a lot of calm. But for me, that kind of just brings a feeling of like a sterile environment, and that's not really what I consider beautiful, and that's not what really makes me comfortable. So if you look through my house, I have a yellow kitchen, paintings from my 2-year-old niece to my two of my best friends who have art degrees. I have professional paintings, I have street art paintings, I have paintings that my boyfriend who has a minor in graphic design made. I have some paintings that I made in high school when I was considering going into the arts. I actually work in the pharmaceutical industry for my day job, so this is more of a fun hobby kind of thing. So yeah, I definitely am not a minimalist. I definitely enjoy, if I could like live in the forest in like a cottage and like embody a woodland fairy, that would probably be like my dream. I've really gotten into like linen maxi skirts lately, so that's something I really want to invest in, like all of the high quality, ethical, beautiful, flowy linen cotton maxi skirts. And I want to look like Miss Frizzle and have like science-y t-shirts with my long, flowy, beautiful maxi skirts. I have a cat, not a chameleon. I'm very content with my cat. We're gonna keep the cat. Her name is Olive. She also likes shiny, dangly things. So now that you know who I am, we've met. Lovely, welcome. Have a drink. Alcoholic, non-alcoholic. I'm a non-alcoholic, preferably myself. I'm a big fan of Earl Grey, like London Fog iced tea. My other go-to is like water with lemon, not necessarily exciting. If I'm out and about and I want to look like I have a like drink, I'll get a Sprite with cranberry juice. Last year at my work party, I had a Sprite with cranberry juice, and a couple of my coworkers were like, "Oh my god, you actually splurged on a cocktail." The company offered beer and wine, but if you wanted like mixed drinks, it was like extra. So they were like, "Oh my god, did you like go and spend the $12 on a vodka cranberry?" And I was like, "No, it's just juice." But it looks really fun, and it makes me feel like I'm part of the group. Not that you have to drink alcohol to be part of the group. I had such a fantastic time with my cranberry Sprite. But yeah, so get whatever you're drinking, get it and buckle up, because we have about 35 more minutes together. So now that we have about 5 minutes of complete rambling, let's actually talk about the pros and cons of collecting shiny, memorable trinkets. So I actually recently moved to a beach town. So I've already walked to the beach 2 or 3 times. I currently have a mason jar on my porch. Yes, I am that person, and I'm very proud of it. where I have started collecting sea glass and seashells from my walks to the beach. Currently I have about 5 seashells and like a couple pieces of green sea glass and a couple pieces of like purpley red sea glass. The likelihood is they both came from beer bottles. I'm very aware of that. But when it's catching light in a mason jar on my front porch, I can just pretend that it was like washed up from mermaid scales or something less environmentally terrible. So that is one of the ways that I feel like I embody a magpie. Other ways that I feel thoroughly enjoyed in my collectorness is sometimes I will literally go online shopping for like hours and hours on like anything from Etsy to Target to eBay to ThreadUp to all these different stores, and I will fill my cart with a bunch of items and then I'll literally just X out of my browser. This does result in like many emails from these companies saying like, oh, look at this necklace that you picked. You can get it for 8% off. Don't you want that? One time only. I get a lot of that. So I get more spam emails than like productive emails, but you know what? Girls gotta have a hobby. I also thoroughly enjoy going into local bookstores. There's a couple local bookstores near me. There's one massive used bookstore in my area. It's like 15-20 miles away. But I absolutely adore it. You can go and they have this beautiful children's section. And I am in my mid-20s, but if you give me a beautifully illustrated children's book, I will absolutely keep it forever. Or I'll donate to a teacher. I've done that a lot. There's something about children's books that is just magical no matter how old you are. And then I also really enjoy secondhand shops, charity shops, thrift shops, consignment shops. I think that they all serve really wonderful purposes. I think that a consignment shop is like such a wonderful like endeavor as a entrepreneur. Why not do something that's super sustainable and super ethical, and then like it's such a way to engage with your community. I absolutely love it. I think it's a wonderful opportunity to open a small business. And then obviously charity shops. Sometimes you have to be a little bit careful because some charity shops that have just been around for a really long time, if you go to their actual mission statement and you go to some of their financial documents that are public record, you can see that they've made some choice decisions on who they invest the money that they earn from their nonprofit, and it doesn't always go to the percentages of the communities that you want it to. So instead of focusing on like the larger thrifting charity shop chains, I try and focus on like local. So a couple of the churches in my area will have like local stores attached to them, and that money just goes directly into like a local food bank. And then there's a couple other ones that are in my area that are just like really small nonprofits. They're constantly posting about events, about grants, about information that they do. So you see that money going right back into your community. And so there's something about finding a really fun little treasure box and then knowing that like the $4 to $8 that I spent on that treasure box, some of that money is actually staying in my community. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. Obviously, spend your money wisely. It's a very scary and weird time, but sometimes it's okay to buy the little treasure. Okay, now some of the negatives about really embracing the trinket life. One, consumerism, mass consumerism. Obviously, I live in the United States. I live on the East Coast of the United States. My area is really has a lot of small businesses, but many of them have really been struggling with everything happening. And then obviously there's been a lot of people who either have free time or you're stuck at home, you have limited options for entertainment. So I know there's been a big increase in online shopping. And sometimes, which I totally understand, but people will buy something and then it will come in and they'll be like, well, I have nothing else to look forward to, so I might as well buy something else. So in 3 days, I have another present, and then another present, and then another one, and then you might end up in credit card debt, which is not ideal. You might end up spending money you don't have, or you might end up even not necessarily overspending, but like just creating an environment where it's like really wasteful, where instead of buying things that like you're really going to treasure and value and hold on to and utilize, you're kind of just buying for the sake of buying. And that can produce a lot of waste. It can produce a lot. It doesn't really fill that need that you're looking for. It doesn't really satisfy that desire to find fulfillment, which can really be a bummer, because it kind of that immediate rush of like hitting purchase now. And you get really excited and you're like, my package is coming. And then you get a massive box for 2 pens full of plastic. And you throw all the plastic away, and then the pen goes in the drawer. And you can switch that out for costume rings. You can switch that out for a new t-shirt. You can switch that out for your 4th pair of sneakers. You can switch that out for so many different things. Know your own limitations. If you know that you have a really hard time stopping at the point of, okay, I have a $35 budget, this pay period of 2 weeks to get as many trinkets as I want with that amount of money. Whether I can get 14 trinkets, or I can get 1 trinket, or I decide to save my $35 this pay period and merge it with next pay period's $35, and then I can get like a really special splurge or whatever your price budget might be. Sometimes you got to think about it that way, where it's more like, and then it kind of turns into a game where it's more strategic than just, oh, we're just collecting. Think about free ways. Like I said at the beginning, where I just went along the beach and collected seashells and sea glass. It doesn't necessarily need to be a beach. Maybe it's a park. Maybe it's a local community garden. There's all sorts of different outdoor things where you might be able to find like a really beautiful rock, or a really beautiful pine cone, or like leaves to press or flowers to press, where maybe it might take a little bit of creativity and a little bit of extra effort, but there are ways to really put that together, which could be really beneficial. Maybe you're really into pottery and you buy air dry clay and you make a little pinch pot, and then you go into your backyard and you pick wildflowers and dandelions, pieces of grass, and you press them into your pinch pot, and then you paint it like raspberry purple. And then you have a brand new item. If you bought it online, it would have been like $14, $22, $25. And you got the air dry clay from the craft store for like $5. And whatever flowers and grass that you find in your backyard, that's free. If you go online, there are ways to make paints. You can take markers and mix it with water and make like a glaze. You might even have like paints or acrylics or just dyes lying around your house. Another way is if you have like old t-shirts and you have like different vegetables. If you go online, I know you can use avocado skin. There's ways to use onion skin. You can like make your own tie-dye, make patterns that are really cool and unique. And then you have your special treasure, and it's more of a, instead of a found thing, it's a made thing. Another really cool thing to do is like make a collage, and you don't need scissors. Maybe glue would be helpful, if not tape, and kind of just, you can use a book or a ruler to get a straight line, but instead of having like that perfectly cut by a scissor straight line, it'll be more like a jagged or ripped line, which looks really fun. You can dye paper with tea to make it look kind of old-fashioned, which is fun. You can take old photos if you have like actually print photos. If you don't, you can print photos from like a pharmacy or a box store for like super cheap. If you don't have a printer, if you have a printer, even better. If your friend has a printer, gives you a reason to go have tea with them or coffee or have lunch, maybe outside, maybe a little social distance, going over to watch a movie and like steal their printer. Just take some of your supplies and go to your friend's house and see what they have for supplies. That could also be really cool as like an alternative to like going out and about somewhere, like going out for lunch. Maybe you go to the grocery store and you say, all right, we have $20, $10 each. What can we come up with? But yeah, there's a bunch of opportunities to entertain yourself and do like really fun, creative things without spending crazy amounts of money. And it still kind of gives you that same like found treasure excitement. Another option for kind of a DIY found sparkly thing is you can make your own crystals. So instead of going to the store, you can make sugar crystals. You can make them, they're really pretty, and you can also eat them. I definitely would not recommend keeping them forever because they might go bad at some point. Not necessarily bad, but just like stale and crumbly. But if you have a popsicle stick or grilling skewer or something, or even like a toothpick, or even like a piece of floss or like a string, and you have just like a drinking glass, plastic solo cup, any kind of like long thin container that resembles a cup. If you boil some water and you dissolve a bunch of sugar, you can find the ratios online with a quick Google search, and you can add maybe some flavoring, maybe some color, like food coloring or food gel. Once again, I'm sure online has way more specific directions. You can make your own crystals, and it's like homemade sugar candy basically. Another option is magnesium sulfite. This is also more commonly known as Epsom salts. You can, once again, boil some water, and this is not an edible option. This is a keep for a while in your trinket box option. So what you'll do with the Epsom salts is you will get like a small bowl or a glass, whatever, and you'll boil some water and you'll pour the water in the bowl or the cup. And if you just want a crystal, not necessarily along a line, but just like a crystal, then just pour it right into a bowl. And then as the water cools over the course of like an hour to 3 or 4 hours, depending on how dense you want the crystal to be, you'll notice that the crystal will start forming. But once again, the Epsom salt is not a edible choice. Do not eat it. Do not consume it in any way. Do not put it on your tongue. This is meant for your trinket box or your end table or little pinch pot that we made earlier. Now that we've talked about all of the ways to accumulate your trinkets in a economical, healthy way, let's talk about how to display them, how to show them off, how to work on your collection, what to decide to collect, how eclectic you want it to be, or do you just want to focus on like forever stamps and you want to literally have binders and binders of forever stamps, and you want to have like, do you want to have a beautiful bookcase where you just have so many binders of like all of these really fun forever stamps? That's an option. My boyfriend has a family furniture piece. It's a hutch. And he has turtles are his favorite animal, so he has a lot of glass blown turtles. He's both collected and have been given to him throughout his lifetime. And we're actually in the process of putting the hutch up in our bonus room, and then he is going to fill it with all of his beautiful glass turtles. A really big window in there. And grandmother actually made us some sun catchers, so there's already some like crystal reflections on the walls. And then once we get those glass turtles, it'll have just really beautiful little sunspots all over the place. My cat goes a little bit crazy, especially 1 or 2 in the afternoon when the sun is at its peak right now. Also, there's like photo shelves you can get if you're really into collecting art prints. If you're more of like a vases and flowers kind of person, you can, a really fun thing is to like find a local pottery studio and make your own flower vase. I did that when I was a kid with my grandmother. It's not a very tall vase. It's more of like a candlestick holder. I've never used it for either thing. I kind of just use it as a jewelry container. And I will like dangle like dangly earrings off the top of the candlestick holder. Why I as an 11-year-old chose to make a candlestick holder is really the embodiment of like the inner old lady that I am. There's lots of really fun creative ways you can use to display your little treasures, because if you're going to take the time to either curate your collection or make your collection, or kind of a combination of both, you want to be able to look at it. Like, you don't necessarily want it tucked in a shoebox under your bed. When I was little, I really liked collecting like birthday cards and Christmas cards and different greeting cards that like your aunts and uncles would send. I don't want to be the person who just has like the shoe treasure box under the bed anymore. I have a place that's my own. I have an opportunity to display things. I understand that everyone's in that position. But if you are in a position where even if you share a room and you have like an end table or you have a photo shelf, even you do have like the under the bed thing, but like curate your photo box. Make it where when you take it out, it's like really special. Whatever you collect, postcards, photo prints, stickers, glass turtles, have a lot of respect for that collection and a lot of excitement around that collection, because if you're embarrassed by your collection, you're not really going to want to share it, and also at some point you're going to decide that it's not fun anymore, and you might grow out of collecting things, or you might grow out of collecting that particular thing, but like in the moment, like allow yourself to just be so enthusiastic about it. Allow yourself to go, I'm like so fantastically wonderstruck by dinosaur stamps that I just want to collect every single dinosaur stamp, the realistic ones to like the cartoon ones to like the Flintstones ones, and really like dive into that and don't feel embarrassed by it. Feel pride and excitement and ownership of the fact you're allowed to be unapologetically excited about what you like. And maybe you like graphic tees, so be unapologetically excited about wearing your graphic tees. Don't feel like you have to be ashamed or nervous or like down about your collections, because it's like right now the cool thing is to like not care about material possessions. It's okay to enjoy things, tangible things that are attached to memories that you have. Yes, it's sometimes the best thing to do is take a photo and save it on an online drive, and that's a really wonderful way to commemorate a memory or a trip or an idea that you had. But sometimes there's something special about, you know, holding that seashell that you got on the beach in Tuscany with your parents when you were like 12 years old, and that was like the one family vacation you went on, and that's allowed to be really special to you. It's also allowed to be equally special if instead of going to Tuscany, you went to the local state park and you collected a pine cone. Hold on to those treasures and value them. This is me telling you that those items have value, and they might not have monetary value. Like, I'm not sure how much your pinch pot that you made that you pressed the dandelion in. I mean, maybe you'll go to the farmer's market, sell it for big bucks, but it's more sentimental value, and understand that sentimental value is value. And if you give it value, that's all the value it needs. Being a magpie is not about having the most beautiful thing or having the most expensive thing or having the most personal thing. Being a magpie is about having the things that bring you the most joy and the things that bring you the most excitement and the things that make you want to learn more about that concept or item. For me, the thing that brought me the most joy as a kid was space. I was like convinced I was going to join the next NASA space mission, planning on the different types of space food that I wanted to eat, ready to cut my hair off so I didn't have to deal with brushing it in like zero gravity. My favorite color is orange, so perfect. Didn't have to worry about what I was going to wear. I had space books, space clothing, space-themed stuffed animals. I had space-themed like playing cards. I had space-themed toys. Now, some of the things that I'm really into are like, I don't know, sci-fi. I really like fantasy books. Like I said, I'm really into like sustainable fashion right now, whether it be thrifting or just sustainable materials or like sustainable supply chains. That's like the thing that I'm really nerding out about right now, as well as like going to thrift shops or collecting beach sea glass. But like all of those things and all those different points of my life were so valid and so exciting, and I'm so happy for the Anna that lived the space theme as much as I'm excited about the Anna who's living the sci-fi twirly skirts phase. So just own it and love it. In my opinion, one of the most attractive, wonderful, and not necessarily physically like romantic attractive, but like platonic attractive, something exciting about people and a passion and an interest. If your passion is insects who live in the desert and like feed on cactuses, send me a direct message. In the information below, I'll contain all of the Magpie social media information. Tell me about the things that you get so excited about that you can't help but smile when you talk about it, and your whole face lights up, and you just wanna tell everybody. And like when you learn a new fact, you just have to like text your best friend, or like text your like online group chat, or like reach out to that person in your message board. What's that thing? That's what being a magpie is, finding that thing. And it doesn't necessarily have to be like an ooh shiny, sparkly piece of jewelry thing. It just has to be like a I'm so invested in this and it makes me so happy thing. What's your I'm so invested in this and I have a job to fund XYZ? By the way, as we wrap up, the thing that I want to end this scatterbrained intro episode is, it is okay to have a career or a job, whatever you're doing professionally to make money. It does not have to be the source of your joy. It is okay to have a career that like you enjoy the people you're around and you use the money to fund the thing you actually enjoy. So like for me, and maybe for you, my day job is not the love of my life. It is not my end all be all. It is not where I find my purpose. It is where I find a way to fund the things that I do outside of work that bring me the real joy. For you, if you are the same way, then that's totally cool. If you found a way to make money doing something that you absolutely adore, you're doing it. You killed it. You won. But you also won if you're in my boat, where you are able to use your day job to fund the fun stuff, to fund the happy things. And on that, I wish you all a wonderful week. I hope that you follow your passions this week. I hope you invest in one thing that fills your cup. And that's it. I'll see you guys next time. This has been the very first episode of the Magpie Podcast. And once again, I'm your host, Anna. Until next time, bye-bye, everybody.